Hi, welcome to Spooning with Andrew. I'm your host, Andrew. Today we're going to talk about sourcing wood. There's a couple of primary ways that I source wood for making spoons. Both of them are focused on recycling things that are available. So the first is recycling wood in forests. The idea here is that you're looking for trees or branches that have fallen down and are on the ground of the forest floor. Something to be aware of is that depending on how long something's been on the ground, it could be rotten, but it also could have some fungus in there. And sometimes that fungus isn't going to necessarily lessen the strength of the wood or compromise it, but it can create some really interesting colors and patterns. And so, just go out to the woods, find something maybe 2-3 inches in diameter, and grab 12 inches that looks fairly straight, and grab a piece of wood. That's one way to get started. The other thing that I like to do when looking for wood for spoons is to just scavenge in my urban environment. And so I'm here next to a piece of wood that I found next to a dumpster, and that's what I'm going to be breaking down today. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, so this is a headboard that I found near a dumpster in my neighborhood, and I carried it home with my kids because why not? So the thing that's great about these finds is that if I look at a bed like this, there is solid wood for this entire leg, so to speak, that extends up. And then you also have solid pieces of wood around the frame. So here is a nice solid 3/4 inch piece. The panel in the middle is really thin. Not much going to be done with that. The panel down here is also very thin. But all of these frame pieces, you have these solid, nice solid pieces of wood. And so when I look at it, I can see, for example, up here, there is, a fairly nice run. And I might make it, use it for making a spoon, or maybe I'll set it aside and use it for something else. So in this bed frame, I've got some decisions to make. Got a nice long run right here, and I'll need to kind of take out the hardware and see what we got. And there's also this thinner piece. I'm probably not going to get a spoon head out of this, but maybe I could get one in this smaller, this is about 4 inches. So, perhaps there's a spoon head inside of here and a handle extending down this piece. So I'm going to grab some tools and begin to break this down. Okay, here I have one of the legs cut off the headboard, and when I take a closer look, there is quite a large tenon from here to here and here to here that's been cut in order to accept those parts of the frame. And so I also was able to slide a pencil down here and see that the tenon extends pretty far down. And so taking that into account, I don't know if you can see it, you probably can't, it's hard to see. I sketched what could be the shape of a big old spoon. I don't know if it'll look like that, but I guess what does it show? It shows the fact that here's a piece of wood, it's got a weird shape, and you kind of just adapt with what you have and find a shape that you can get out of it, find a spoon shape that you like. And so maybe this is a ladle or a flipper or something like that, and a nice curved handle. Maybe it would look like something else. But the key idea here is take what the piece gives you. couple other things to pay attention to before you start to axe out your blank is just taking out any of the metal that you see in your piece. So, for example, in this piece, there's the very obvious metal hardware that was used for putting the side rails of the bed and the headboard together. So I took that out. There was also a piece of trim, you can see here, that was on the board. Something to pay attention to is whatever fasteners were used. In this case, it looks like either a staple or a couple of brad nails. Make sure that those have come out. You don't want to run into that with your hatchet when you're axing out your blank. Do a lot of damage to your blade. So yeah, just look over the piece, make sure you have everything out and that it's ready for axing. Okay, I've broken this leg down all the way. I had a chance to look a little bit more carefully about the depth of the tenon, or rather the mortise, to accept the tenon. And it goes through about 3/4 of the way, and so I won't be able to get a diagonal out of that piece. So that helps to guide what kind of shape and size the spoon will be. I do think I'm going to get 3 out of this. Final dimensions and design, I have no idea. The little piece here on the end, I thought it might have just been scrap, but I realized that in a recent move, I lost one of my favorite spoons that came from a piece of oak that I scavenged at some point. So anyway, this little piece will become a replacement for that spoon. And yeah, so 3 spoons, pretty cool. Okay, then final word about tooling. So for this, all I have used is a really old panel saw that needs to be cleaned up, but it works just fine. A rusted out IKEA multi-screwdriver for taking out the hardware, and just a double-sided hammer that I used and had no purpose. So all that goes to show you don't need really fancy tools for this. Just use what you have. Use a hunk of chair to set your wood on, so you can needle on it and cut it as you need to. Doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to be expensive.